Why do I prefer weighted calisthenics and weightlifting to strictly bodyweight calisthenics? Why do I think that weighted calisthenics and weightlifting might be especially suited for taller athletes? I'll tell you why. So if you're a tall, chunky boy like me, stick around. This is for you. First, I'll share my personal training story and then leave you with a few of the benefits I see of using weighted progressions over strict bodyweight ones. Several years back, I discovered calisthenics. I was impressed by all the cool skills, and I love the simplicity of it. Just train using your body weight. So I was naturally interested in progressing all of my skills. I wanted to do handstands, one-arm chin-ups, and the fabled front lever. So I relentlessly pursued these goals. I learned to balance in handstands, and then make some simple handstand shapes, and then finally to do straight-arm handstand presses. I was training for the one-arm chin-up, doing lots of assisted one-arm variations, archer pull-ups, as well as weighted pull-ups. I was up to doing 42 kilogram weighted pull-ups when I first got golfer's elbow. But my obsession with the arbitrary goal of doing a one-arm chin-up blinded me to the risk of continuing. I pushed through the pain against all good reason, and I paid the price by essentially being prevented from seriously training pull-ups for over 2 years as I recovered from tendonitis in both elbows. Not one of my best plays. I was also inspired by the front lever. As a taller guy, I underestimated from the outset just how long a journey it would be. I'm 6'1" or 185 centimeters with unfortunately long legs, currently at 83 kilograms. While there are definitely taller folks than me who have achieved the front lever, they're definitely rare. There's a reason that there are no tall, high-level gymnasts. The problem with bodyweight progressions is that when you're moving slowly through them, it's so slow to see the progress. I was adding an extra hold here, a few extra seconds there, but the bridge between any two progressions can be massive if your body is big. When switching from the advanced tuck front lever to the straddle front lever, for me personally, it probably adds 10 to 15 kilograms of force for me. Since that's way too big of a jump to make in just one session, the only other option is to use micro progressions, adding a few extra degrees of pelvic tilt or of leg bend or whatever. The problem with these is that they're so analog and granular that it's very difficult to standardize these positions. Holding a leg position at exactly the same angle each time without ever compensating as you fatigue seems impossible to me. And the mental effort required to do that takes away from what I'm actually trying to accomplish with the set, pulling maximally hard with my shoulders and back. So it's just not a very effective way to train. Props to anyone who has had significant success with these methods. Hats off to you. Here's me doing one of my best straddle front levers, and I stopped training it soon after this. That's not to say that I've given up on these goals, but I'm now approaching them in a completely different way. I'm using simple, basic weighted exercises as my primary training. I will one day do a one-arm chin-up, but I'm going to get there by building up a massive volume of heavy chin-ups first. The shift here is one in goals and motivation. Because I was so focused on getting the one-arm chin-up, I was rushing it, and I was essentially devaluing the humble two-arm chin-up. I wanted to be done with them so that I could finally do the flashy trick. But now I'm just focusing on making my chin-ups as good as they can possibly be. I'm giving them the proper attention and the time and the practice they need to progress naturally at my body's pace. In practice, I'm adding 1 kilo to sets of 10 just about every single week. Because my immediate focus is on the weighted chins themselves, every extra rep, every extra kilogram feels like an important achievement, not just a stepping stone along the way to a one-arm variation. Weighted exercises are the easiest for progressive overload. And since progressive overload is the foundational principle to all of strength, endurance, and hypertrophy training, that's a really big plus. There's a reason that professional athletes in every sport do their strength and conditioning in a weight room and not at a calisthenics park. It's simply easier to target specific attributes and perfectly tune the resistance for your current abilities. As I alluded to in my front lever journey, bodyweight progressions where you manipulate body position to increase or decrease leverage are too analog to standardize each repetition easily. And they're very, very easy to cheat, even unintentionally, as your fatigue builds. If you can't rigorously track your progress session to session, you can't guarantee it. In addition, the jump between progressions, which are easier to measure without cheating, often represents an enormous jump in strength. And the heavier you are, and the longer your limbs are, the bigger these jumps tend to be. So expecting to optimally progress when you're stuck between one variation which is too easy and the next one which is too hard seems quite unlikely. In contrast, with weight, you can just add the smallest amount of weight. It's that easy. It's measurable and it works. A final benefit of weighted exercises is that they allow you to continually progress and focus on the basic movement patterns. Pull-ups, push-ups, dips, squats, etc. I believe that these are the foundations for strength. I hypothesize that by getting brutally strong at weighted pull-ups, which I will one day, the carryover to more niche skills like the front lever will be much more than if I were focusing my time directly on practicing the front lever and then trying to go back to weighted pull-ups. Time will tell. By adding weight, you can perfectly control intensity and volume down to a half kilogram. For me, I find it much more measurable and motivating to slowly add tiny bits of weight than keep track of tiny changes in progression. I will go back to the advanced calisthenics movements once I've built more muscle from the basics. But for me, that's a good way to display my strength, but not so much a good way to build it. But that's a topic for another day. Thanks for watching.